Hello everyone, I am Teacher Edgar and welcome to my Learning C++ Programming Language tutorial series. So in today's tutorial, we're gonna discuss uh, the topics related to computer programming. We're gonna know what is the computer basic, what supposedly the program is, what are the different types of operating system, and also we're gonna describe the history of the C++ programming. I mean the processes, the structure, and also the elements, and we also know how to analyze the computing problems and solve this through the basic programming development life cycle. So the content of this lesson, so we have six topics. We have the computer system, so we can identify and we're gonna differentiate the two components of computer system. We have the hardware and the software, and also we have the programs and programming languages. We're gonna know what are those different languages or the PL, and also we're gonna discuss the history of the C++, why is it called as C++, and also the structures, the elements, the IPO or the input process output, and also the program development process. Okay, so the learning outcomes of this tutorial video is to comprehend should be able the students to comprehend with the computer basic programs and the operating system, and also describe the history of the C++, understand the structure and elements of the program, and also identify the processes, I mean the structure and the elements, and also to analyze and solve computing problems using the fundamentals development cycle. Okay, so before we proceed with the first topic, which is the computer system hardware and software, let us first know why we call this as a program, because we are learning C++ programming. So why is it some other people, for the layman's term, they call this as a program? Okay, so the program is being used by a programmer, by a people, by a user. It's been installed into different platforms. It could be in a computer system or a desktop computer, a laptop computer, or it could be in a mobile app, or it could be in a cell phone, smartphones, so on and so forth. So why is that called this program? So we have three terms here. So we have the computer, we have the program software, and we have the programmer. Okay, let us start with the programmer. So the programmer, so it is the person, okay, with the right skills who designs, create, and test programs for computer. So the applications we use every time, say for example, we do spreadsheet works. So we use Excel, we use Microsoft Office Word, we're gonna use Microsoft PowerPoint, or even we're gonna use browsers or different applications. So the person who designs that and who creates that or who tests that is the programmer. So everyone who has the knowledge or the right skills to develop such program, they called as programmer. Okay, so then after the programmer developed that program, so that is now a what we call program or a software, meaning the program or the software is the instructions that a computer follows to perform a task. Meaning, we write, the programmer write or create or designs a code for a certain task. Say, for example, the programmer creates a calculator. So he created or they created a calculator for solving mathematical problems. Say for example, it stands for addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. So that is the task to be performed of that software. So the programmer create a program for mathematical calculation, and that program is called a software. That is instruction that the computer to follow to perform a task. After we created that software or that program, it is now time for the computer to follow the instructions, and that is the computer. Computer is a programmable machine designed to follow instructions. So meaning, without the programmer, without the software, the computer will not work. Meaning, there's no instruction at all. If the programmer create a program, I mean the instruction, so then there will be an instruction for a computer. That is why without the programmers, no program. Without programs, no computer cannot do anything. I mean, without a programmer, there's no programs. Without programs, so the computer cannot do anything. So meaning they are combined. So uh, they are team. We can say that team. Why? Because if there's no programmer, there's no program. If there's no program, there is no task for a computer to follow. Now, uh, we have the what we call programming as an art and as a science. So artistry in programming. So why is it artistry? Because there is an organization of tasks that the program performs. I mean, how was the information displayed? How was the user interact with the program? So if the programmer, since the programmer is the one who designs, who creates a program, so there is an art in it because there will be a task. Say for example, we're gonna create a calculator for solving additional or addition to solve a certain problem. Say for example, addition. How was the information displayed? Okay, so we're gonna display first the first number and then the second number. So how the user will interact with the program? So by inputting or by prompt. So the user will prompt a number, a first number and a second number, then it will be displayed on the screen. Okay, why is it programming is science in programming? Why is that so? Because understanding of a language used to write the program, because understanding how to test the program and to change it if it does not work as intended. Why? Uh, there is a science in programming because the programmer should understand the language used to write a program. Why? If the programmer doesn't have the enough knowledge to write a program, the programmer could not do any program at all. Why? Because the skills, I mean the knowledge in basic programming should be considered to write. How are you going to write if you don't know how to code? How are you going to write if you don't know what is the structure of the programming? You don't know the header, you don't know what are the keywords to be used to run a program. And also, you don't know how to test a program. If you do test the program, there is a bug, and then you don't know how to debug that uh, program. So meaning there's a science at all because we're gonna study how language is right, or how was the language used to write the program, and also how to test a program if there is a certain error or bug. Now let us now proceed with the topic one, which is the computer system. So let us review for what we had a while ago. So why is it program? Because there is a programmer, there is a software, and there is a computer. Without a programmer, there is no program. Without program, there is no task for a computer to do. Okay. Now let us now understand what is computer system. I mean the hardware and the software. So when we say hardware, so hardware is a physical component of a computer. So meaning from the word physical, so this is what we've seen. Ito yung nakikita natin sa computer. So kapag nakita natin sa computer, say for example, we're gonna see the motherboard, I mean the RAM. What else? The storage devices. We're gonna see the input devices, and we're gonna see the output devices. So the main hardware components of a computer, it has the what we call the central processing unit, or the CPU. It has also the main memory, or the random access memory, and we do have the secondary storage devices. So what are those secondary devices? We have the the hard disk, anything that is that can be stored, ano, it could be storage. What else? Input devices. What are those input devices? We have mouse. What about output devices? We have speakers. What else? We have the monitors and printers. That is an example of an output devices. So here is supposedly the main component categories. So we have here under the input devices, we have this one, the joystick. We have the camera. We also have this one. I think this is a signature pad. This is a keyboard. This is a joystick, and we have here a webcam. We have here the scanner. We could use a scanner for input. So within this the central processing unit, as the main component of the hardware, we have the central processing unit, the one who process, and this one is our main memory. Okay, so yung nasa baba, this is the secondary storage. So and the other one, we have the output devices. It could be the monitor, the printer, and the speaker. So it could be the input, and this would be the process. So the process includes the central process and the CPU and the RAM, and also the output. Anything that can produce something that is an output, like speaker, printer, and the monitor. Okay, so what is the CPU's role in running a program? So as you observe, so the CPU is our process, the IPO, the input, process, and output. So this is our central processing unit. Yung maliit na chip doon sa computer system natin, that is the central processing unit. Now, ano yung role? What is the role of CPU in running a program? Okay, so we do have the what we call cycle. Okay, so we have fetch, we have decode, and we have execute. Okay, isa-isay natin, ano ba yung fetch, what is the decode, and what is execute. From the word fetch, meaning get the next program instruction from the main memory. Okay, where is our main memory? So this is our main memory. Okay, our main memory has this what we call addresses. Okay, it has an addresses in your operating system. You're gonna know what is this addresses. Okay, so we're gonna get the next program instruction from the main memory. Say for example, this is process 1, this is the process 2, and the process 3, so on and so forth. Say we're gonna get the instruction from the main memory. That is the term for fetch. Ang tawag natin dyan is fetch. Now, after fetching, after getting the instruction from the memory, from the main memory, we're gonna have the what we call decode. Interpret the instructions and generate a signal. Now, after natin makuha yung process within our main memory, so this is our main memory, ipapunta natin doon. So, ang gagawin is to interpret the instruction. What is the instruction? So, the CPU could understand only the machine language, or the ones and zeros, or the bits, series of ones and series of zeros. Now, after mag-generate ng signal, so the signal, we have two signals. We have the one and zeros. If it is true or on, we're gonna use 1. If it is 0, it is false or it is off. Now, After mag-generate ng signals, we have the what we call execute. Now, route the signal to the appropriate components to perform an operation. Meaning, uh, the role of our CPU is to fetch, meaning to get, and then we have decode, meaning to interpret, and after that is to perform, to route, the execute, what is the instructions. Alright, let's have an example. So here, say for example, we use our keyboard, or our mouse rather. So we input here A. Okay, so A will be in our address memory. Say for example, it's 1000 because A would be converted into machine language or the binary. Say for example, it's 100. So this is our process. First process is if i-fetch natin. Okay, kukunin ni CPU yung process natin. So idadala doon sa ating CPU. Ang gagawin is i-interpret. So ano yung i-interpret natin? Ano ba yung ginawa niya? Nag-encode. Meaning, there is a signal. Nag-encode ka. Okay, after mo mag-encode, pupunta ka kay execute. Meaning, iroroute mo yung signal, okay, kung saan siya papunta, operation. Since we encoded 1 or a letter A, saan siya pupunta? And what component? So, it would be now went to our output devices, and that is our monitor. Why? So, nag-encode ka ng 1, ng A, papasok sa memory, sa addresses, kukunin ni CPU, because of the fetch, i-interpret niya, that is our decoding, interpret natin ang decode. After ma-interpret, we gonna execute that, and ibabato natin sa appropriate component categories of our computer, and that is our monitor. So, hindi naman siguro, pwede naman natin ilagay kung yung A ay pinrint mo, so that is a process, printing, fetch, i-decode, execute, print. Okay, after ma-print, babalik ulit siya saan? Babalik siya doon sa ating fetching. So, meaning, there is 3 cycle. Fetch, decode, and execute. After ma-fetch, kukunin natin yung instruction from the memory, from the main memory. After makuha, ang gagawin is i-decode, i-interpret, babasahin, iintindihin, or kung anong gagawin, ano ba yung gustong ipagawa. Mag-generate siya ng signal, and after that, i-execute niya yung ginawa, yung pinapagawa niya doon sa computer, and then, ibabato niya kung saang appropriate component siya pupunta. Kung pinapaprint sa kanya, then, babato niya sa printer. If ipapadisplay niya sa screen, then, i-display sa screen. Okay? So, let's proceed. So, ano nga ba yung main memory? So, when we say main memory, it is, it can hold both program instructions and data. What else? It is volatile, or it could be volatile. So, erased when the program terminates or computer is turned off. Okay, kapag ka bumibili kayo ng cellphone, okay, ng smartphones, ito yung unang tinitignan. So, gaano ba kalaki yung RAM mo? The size of your RAM. So, paglaki ng RAM, pagbilis ng process. Meaning, the performance of your cell phone also affects the specification of your RAM or your main memory. Kasi yun yung primary memory natin eh. Siya yung magpa-process, mag-handle ng task. Say for example, nag-open ka ng Photoshop, nag-open ka ng Power Director, Sony Vegas, so on and so forth. Then, ang RAM mo is 2 gig. So, yung processes nun, hindi ma-handle. So, saan natin makikita? So, let me have this into the, show you the sample of the processes na nasa ating memory. So, this is an example of the memory. So, we have here the task. Okay? So, asan yung task? So, yung processes natin dito. Okay? Dito nyo makikita yung memory natin. So, this is our memory. Okay? This is the total size of my memory. So, 8 gig yung aking memory. Tama ba? Okay. No, okay, 8 gig nga ang aking memory. Then, I have here the available, and I have here yung aking nagamit na in-use. So, ito yung memory natin. So, kapag ka marami kang binuksan na applications within your computer, so, meaning yung task mo, tataas din. So, it needs high, hindi naman siya high, mataas na specification ng RAM natin para ma-hold yung process. Kasi kung nag-multitasking ka and you use 2 gig, so mag-hang yung computer mo, maglalag. Kasi, yung fetching from the CPU, pagkuha niya doon, medyo delay yon kasi nagba-bottleneck na. So, hindi niya masuportahan yung speed ng pagpaprocess natin. What else? Okay, it can also random access memory for a cell phone. Ito yung mga memory locations natin, yung room nila, o random access memory. So, as you observe, sabi niya dito, erase when the program terminates. Okay, ang kaibahan ni RAM doon sa mga storage devices natin like flash drive, ano pa ba, hard drive, SD cards or SSD. So, ito kasi ay not-terminates. Meaning, kapag niran natin yung program, pag binuksan natin, pag tinurn on natin yung computer, so, magra-run siya, gagana. So, ang mag-handle ng task is the RAM. Now, simple as this. Nag-open ka ng application for Microsoft Office Word. Okay, naglagay ka, and then, ang haba na ng in-encode mo, then nag-shutdown. So, without saving. So, yung ginawa mo, na temporary na nandoon sa RAM, pag sinutdown natin, mawawala yung lahat. So, meaning, magbaback to normal or magbaback to zero siya, state kung saan siya, ano yung estado niya noon. Doon siya magbabalik. So, i-erase na lahat ng programs kapag nag-turn off. What else? So, ano ba yung main memory organization natin? We have what we call bit and we have byte. So, what is the difference between bit and byte aside from the spelling? So, meaning, bit is the smallest piece of memory. It stands for binary digit. That was bit. Binary digit. Holds an electrical charge. We have the what we call on and off, or it could be 1 for on, and we have 0 for off. Okay, so we have 0 and 1. Okay, so this is considered as the switch, right? So kung makikita ninyo sa mga switches natin, we have this icon. So bilog na may 1 sa gitna. That is 0s and 1. Pag in-on nyo, that is 1. Okay, what about the bytes? Byte is 8 consecutive bits, has an address memory. Has an address in the memory. Meaning, there is millions of bytes of memory in a computer. Imagine kung 2 gig yan, 4 gig, 8 gigs, ilang memory addresses or ilang bytes ang ma-store natin sa memory addresses. So, ang ating memory addresses has this one. So, may guhit-guhit yan dyan. So, address 1, address 2. So, in your operating system, you couldn't understand paano tayo mag-scheduling, alin ba yung mauuna, sino yung mauhuli, sino yung mas priority. The first in, first out, or the FIFA. What else? Ang ating secondary storage, so the other one, because though it is a storage, yung una kasi is the primary or the main memory. Yung main memory kasi natin, pag switch off, mawawala. Okay? Temporary storage kasi ang tawag natin doon sa primary or yung ating RAM. So, ang secondary storage natin holds data when the program is not running or when the computer is turned off. Meaning, pag sinave natin sa secondary storage, permanent na yun doon. Kahit pa yan, naka-turned off ang ating computers, so nandoon pa din siya. So, ano yung examples ng ating mga secondary storage? We have the disk drive. So, yung nasa inyong PC. What else? We have we have the CDs or the DVDs. We have the flash drive. So, meron pang SSD. Basta lahat ng storage na nalalagyan natin ng laman or nakakapag-save tayo, that is considered as secondary storage. Okay? So, yung RAM, hindi gagana yung ating PC kung wala tayong RAM. Okay? Kapag naghahanap kayo ng cellphones, you're going to buy a gadget or a smartphone, ang unang tinitignan is yung ating RAM. Ilan ang RAM niyan? Especially if you're a gamer. So make sure yung RAM mo is mataas plus yung iyong processor maganda din klase para nagma-match sila. Mas mataas yung RAM and then mataas din yung iyong processor. So match na match sila. Kumbaga, maaluan lang yung pagdadala nila ng applications and pag-accept ng instructions. Okay? What about the input devices? Sabi ko nga kanina, kapag sinabing input devices, used to send information to the computer from the outside. So, ibig sabihin, magsisend ng information sa computer. Kasi nanggaling siya sa labas. Like, mag-encode ako. Anong gagamitin kong output devices? We're gonna use the keyboard. Magpo-point ako. Mag-move ko yung arrow. Anong gagamitin natin? We're gonna use our pointing device, which is uh, the mouse. What else? Scanner. Mag-scan ako. Okay? So, an example here is the keyboard, the mouse, the touchscreen, the microphone, the scanner, the digital cameras, the disk drive, the CDs or DVDs, and the USB plus drive. That is an example of an input devices. So, in output devices, it's kabaligtaran ng ating input devices, yung output. Meaning, used to send information from the computer to the outside. So, meaning, yung kanina, yung input, mag-i-input tayo ng information sa computer from the outside. Now, sa output is, we're gonna send an information mula sa computer or from the computer papunta saan? Sa labas. Okay? So, an example niyan is the computer screen, yung ating monitor, the printer, pag magpiprint tayo, the speaker, that is the sound, disk drive, CDs, recorder, and the flash drive. So, those are an example of the output devices. Okay. Now, let us study what is software programs that run on the computers. Ano-ano ba yung classifications ng programs? So, we have three classifications. We have the operating system. We have two classifications of our software. We have the system software and the other one is the applications software. Now, what is the difference between the two? Okay, when we say system software, okay, kapag sinabi nating system software, this is a program that manage the computer hardware and program that run on the computer. So, ano ba example ng ating system software? Sabi daw doon, these are the operating system, controls operation of the computer. So, ima-manage niya yung mga devices na connected para ma-access yung ating storage device. The best example for system software is our operating system. For PC, we have the Windows operating system. We have XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. What else? Kung sa kapag computer system ang pinag-uusapan, we have the Linux. We have the Unix or the Unix. We have ano pa ba? The Mac. So those are an example of operating system. Bakit? Yan yung ginagamit nating software para mapagana natin yung ating computer. Kasi kapag walang system software or walang operating system na in-install sa computer system, hindi siya gagana. Meaning, kasi bakit hindi siya gagana? Kasi yung computer, yung OS natin or yung operating system natin, the one who manages or that manages the computer hardware. So kung walang naka-install, hindi gagana ang mouse, hindi gagana ang keyboard. Hindi tayo makakapag-encode, hindi tayo makakapag play ng music kasi wala tayong operating system, walang mediator, walang magkukontrol doon sa input and output natin. Okay, what else? Kung sa cellphone naman ang pag-uusapan, we have the Android. Okay, we have different Android versions. Okay? Ano pa? We have the iOS or the iPhones. Yung mga iPhones na yan. The difference between the two is magkaiba talaga sila kasi this is for Androids. Android is an open source operating system for cell phones, unlike sa iOS. Ang iOS kasi they are designed for their own architecture. Yung design, yung cellphone nila is, yung operating system is designed lang for an iOS or an Apple or Mac devices. Or not Mac devices, I mean Apple, iPhones, mga ganon. So medyo costly kasi mahal talaga. So an example of the system software, we have the operating system, we have utility. Kapag sinabi natin utility programs, yun yung ginagamit natin for scanning viruses, data backup, or file compressions. So yun yung mga utility, meaning there is specific task for enhancement of the computer operations. So kapag nag-scan ka ng computer, so we do have our scanners, utility program ang tawag natin doon. Pag mababack tayo ng files, so we call that as utility programs. File compression, if we're gonna put our files into a compressed one para free siya into corruptions, into data breach, into intruders, para ma-protection natin, naka-compress siya. What else? The software development tools na ginagamit natin is, this is one, these are the tools used by the programmers to create programs, yung mga IDEs natin, or the integrated development environment, katulad natin. So, gagamit tayo ng iba't ibang klase ng IDE para mag-program tayo. Okay? So yung tatlong classification ng software, system software, we have the operating system. Ano yung mga operating system? Yung ating Windows 7, Windows operating system, Linux, Unix, or Unix. We have the Mac. So we have the utilities, ano yung mga virus scanners, we have the data backup, the file compression, and we also have software development tools, yung mga IDEs natin. Okay, ginagamit siya for creating a software. What else? For application software naman, meron tayong tinatawag na iba't ibang klase ng software application. So, ano-ano ba yung mga yon? So, these are the programs that make a computer useful for everyday tasks. What else? These are the programs that people usually spend most of their time running on their computers. So, yan yung mas malagi natin ginagamit sa ating mga computers. Like Facebook, ano pa? Example, ang applications are the Microsoft Office Word. Kapag may mga reports tayo, so ang binubuksan natin is the computer, the Microsoft Word. What about word processing program, the Microsoft PowerPoint, the presentation program, the spreadsheet program, kung gagawa ka ng mga spreadsheet, reports for accounting, email programs, web browsers, kung ikaw ay magre-research, magse-search ka sa Google or gagamit ka ng email, so email program. What else? Game programs, kung gagamit ka ng mga games. So yan yung ginagamit natin. Okay. Since we are done with the lesson 1, so ang lesson 1 kasi is composed of the computer systems, hardware, and software. So, sa susunod na mga videos, I'm going to discuss the programs and the programming languages. Ano-ano ba yung mga iba't ibang klaseng languages and the history of the C++ programming, ano ba yung algorithm, what is a low-level language, what is a high-level language, what else, ano ba yung structures ng elements natin, the process output, ano ba yung program development process. So, that would be in the next tutorial lessons. Now, let us summarize yung ating discussions about the computer system and hardware and software. So, we have the what we call ano bang meron sa atin? So, we have how many main hardware components categories. So we have 5, I think. Ano yun? We have the central processing unit. Okay. The central processing unit, we have the main memory, the secondary storage, the input devices, and the output devices. So, ano-anong meron? So, we have what are the three cycle? I mean, the role of CPU in running a program. So, we have the fetch. Kapag sinabi nating fetch, so kukunin natin yung next instruction from the main memory or yung ating RAM. Pagkatapos makuha, i-decode, i-interpret, i-intindihin, o unawain, and then magja-generate ng signal. Ibabato. Saan ibabato? Doon sa appropriate components na gagamit ng operation, and that is execution. So, tatlo lang yung ating role ng ating program, ng ating CPUs in running a program. Okay? So, we have the what we call software programs. Meron tayong dalawang klase. We have the application software and the system software. So, sa system software, we have the what we call operating system. Ano yung example ng operating system? We have the Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, the Unix, or the Linux, the Mac. That is an example of an operating system. What else? We have the utility programs. Ano yung mga utility programs? Yung ginagamit natin for scanning viruses, data backup, file compression. So, what about the software development tools? Yung mga IDE natin. Yung ginagamit natin sa pag-create ng mga software. So, the other one is the application software. Ito yung mga ginagamit natin araw-araw. Okay, ano-ano yun? Like, for example, Microsoft Word, word processing program, kung magpa-PowerPoint ka, presentation programs, spreadsheet programs, kung may mga accountings ka, mag-send ka ng email, gonna use an application software for email, web browsers, and game programs. Okay? Now, for your task na nakalagay doon sa modules ninyo dyan sa computer programming, okay, the direction is answer the following questions comprehensively. Write your answer in the space provided. So, nakikita nyo dyan merong provided spaces dyan sa baba ng inyong module. Okay? Just follow the instruction. Okay? Follow nyo lang instructions. Read carefully siguro naman doon sa ginawa nating explanation. Makukuha nyo na yung agad yung sagot. So, napakadali lang yan. So, at the end of the month, kukunin namin yan or maybe sa bahala na mamaya, pag-iisipan natin kung anong gagawin. I mean, how are you going to submit your answer doon sa task number 1. Okay? So, that would be for this tutorial videos. I mean, lesson. I don't know if I consider this as tutorial videos. And learning C++ programming. So, again, this is Teacher Edgar. Thank you and magandang buhay.